Hey there, welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews. And my goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can decide whether or not you want to spend time or money or both watching a particular film. So today, the movie I'm reviewing is called Anatomy of a Fall. This dramatic murder mystery is now playing on Vudu, Amazon Prime, YouTube, and Google Play. It's definitely worth a look because it's going to be getting some Oscar buzz, I think. The film is rated R. It's 2 hours and 31 minutes long, which is a really long movie, especially because it has subtitles. This is a foreign film. But my movie review mom grade is A, even though it's really long. So let me give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked, things I didn't like, tips for parents, themes worth talking about, interesting lines, funny lines, and recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that you might also really like if you like this one. All right, so in a nutshell, the story is about a woman who is suspected of murdering her husband. Their blind son faces a moral dilemma as the main witness. I know you're thinking, wait, didn't she just say blind? Yes. So that's part one of the twists of this whole story. The legal drama has already won the Palme d'Or at the 76th Cannes Film Festival in France. In addition, it has 36 wins and 77 nominations from various film festivals around the world and Critics' Choice organizations. So that's partly why I think it's going to get some attention at the Academy Awards coming up soon. So first, let me give you the list of things that I liked about this film, which is pretty long. Justine Triet wrote the screenplay specifically for the actress Sandra Hüller, who stars in the film. She is fantastic in it and really carries the movie. The other co-writer was Arthur Harari. The rest of the cast is also superb and includes Swan Arlaud, Milo Machado Grainer, Antoine Reinartz, Jenny Beth, and many more. Now, I don't know that any of these actors will be familiar to American audiences because it is a foreign film, but I hope that some of them will be able to cross over and we'll see them in Hollywood productions because they were that good. As an author myself, I'm always fascinated by movies that reveal writers' inspiration and methodology. Now, as a shameless plug, you can find all 31 of my books on Amazon, published by a variety of publishers. It's really interesting to see how a French court and lawsuit function. Now, I've just spent 2023 trying to learn French on Duolingo. And so it was really a challenge for me to see how much of it I could understand. I picked up a few things, but I'm definitely not fluent in French. And so the subtitles were very helpful. At the very beginning of the film, we hear an instrumental version of 50 Cent's Pimp, P-I-M-P. The song features Snoop Dogg. Now, the first character that we see in the movie is a family dog named Snoop. The border collie that played Snoop actually won the Palm Dog Award at the 2023 Cannes Film Festival. I didn't even know that that was such an award. Music plays an intriguing role in this story throughout. We get to visit France in an alpine setting where the family lives. The genius of this movie really is in how perfectly it blends a murder investigation with the complex elements of family drama. A lot of times I'll watch a movie and I'm like, what kind of a movie are you? Are you this or are you that? This movie really straddles a couple of different genres, but it does it very well. Now, there were just a few things that I didn't like or thought could have been done better. For example, I can instantly select in my mind scenes that could have been deleted in order to shave off the length of this film. As I've mentioned twice now, it's a long movie. Some viewers won't like the ambiguous ending. You're going to be like, well, but what really happened? And so if you are okay with ambiguous endings like I am, you'll actually appreciate that. Sometimes it might drive viewers nuts, just crazy, because there is no solid end of the story. It's definitely an emotional roller coaster that might exhaust viewers. Now, let me give you some tips for parents. I think kids are definitely going to be bored. It's kind of a courtroom drama, lots of adults talking, that kind of thing. We do see a dead body with lots of blood pooling on the ground, so that's icky. We see the naked backside of a man. A lot of French is spoken with subtitles, as I mentioned. There are conversations about death that are very blunt and even graphic. There is some profanity and quite a few F-bombs, and there is talk of intimate relations. Some of the themes that are illustrated very well are murder, authors and writing and their inspiration and muse, truth, trust, family drama, victims, inventory of a couple's life and the death of a man, infidelity, marriage, balance and justice in a relationship, doubt, gender, guilt versus innocence, interpretation of facts, judgment, language translation and playing with words, and the energy of despair. Now, whenever I watch movies, I write down funny lines and interesting lines just so that I can share them with you so you can get a real taste and feel for the script writing. However, when I went back to look at my notes, I did not write down any funny lines. This is definitely a dramatic movie, not a comedy. There are maybe a few moments where you might smirk, but again, nothing that's out loud funny that was worth writing down. But I did write down quite a few interesting lines. You can see all of them on my written review, moviereviewmom.com. But I'll share some with you right now. So first of all, Sandra Voiters, played by Sandra Huller, and she says, I loved him, but how do you prove that? And that's references the whole court case. How do you prove certain things? Now, they have some very strong evidence against somebody, but then there's almost the equal evidence for somebody. And so evidence is a very important part of this film that could lead you astray one way or the other. The same character played by Sandra Huller says to her husband as they're in this big fight, she says, I don't believe in the notion of reciprocity in a couple. It's naive and frankly depressing because they're doing this tit for tat. Well, I did all of the dishes, but I drove our son to work or to school, and I did this, but you didn't do that, kind of a thing. And I know that that can exist in marriage. And it can be really harmful. You should go into marriage being willing to give more than you're receiving. And if they both people in a marriage feel that way, then you've got something solid to work with. You know what I mean? And there are going to be ups and downs in marriage where due to sickness or life circumstances or traumatic events or whatever, one just simply can't give as much as the other is giving. And that's the kind of, in sickness and in health and good times, bad times, part of the vow of marriage. Anyway, I thought that was a really interesting line. Another line that she says, Sandra Huller's character, is, this is life. Things circulate, kind of that circular notion of life coming and going and evolving even. And then another interesting line is spoken by the husband named Daniel, played by Milo Machado Greener. And he says, you really have no shame. That's a superpower. And that's kind of his dig into her. She then replies and says, me personally, I refuse to rot inside, so I find solutions. Clearly, they're not having a happy marriage. Now, there's an attorney who is representing the wife in this whole murder investigation and trial, and they are picking out elements of some of the books that she's written, and they kind of align with why a wife would want to murder a husband. And so this attorney says, an author can express herself through her characters. Now, I write all nonfiction. They're my ideas, my genre or my niche is kind of brainstorm idea type of books on a variety of subjects. And yet I also am an author coach at FromBookToBusiness.com, my shameless plug in case you need some help with writing, you can reach out to me. But I know how to coach fiction authors and how to weave things in through stories. And I'm so fascinated by the authors who do write fiction because their brain works differently than a nonfiction author brain. Anyway, I just love working with writers. And it's so funny when I have sessions with my clients, the nonfiction clients will say, okay, what marketing strategy are we going to work on today? And, they just want to get right to it. Whereas my fiction author clients, they want to spend all this time talking about the story, which is great if we're working on the story, but they just love to imagine. And anyway, it's just really fun to see the difference between the two characters. Anyway, before I end, let me give you some recommendations for some other movies that I think are sort of similar that you might really love. The first one that instantly came to my mind while I was watching this is called Marriage Story. Marriage Story is a film that earned an Academy Award for one of the actresses and a nomination for Best Actor for another actor, Adam Driver specifically. There's this one scene where they're fighting, this married couple, and Adam Driver's character just loses it. My jaw dropped to the floor. It was such a powerful, raw, honest moment. And I was just like, give this guy an Oscar already. But Joaquin Phoenix won it for The Joker, which was also rightly earned. But at the very least, I was glad that Adam Driver won an Academy Award for that performance. And by the way, if you're interested in Adam Driver like I am, definitely check out my movie review for Ferrari, where he stars as Enzo Ferrari, the car maker and racer, former racer, and he and his wife are constantly fighting. He didn't quite drive down to that, pun intended, drive down to that same intensity when he and his wife are fighting in Ferrari. But anyway, definitely watch that movie. But there's a heads up. This is not a fun movie to watch. It is dramatic. It is brutal. It is just emotionally exhausting to watch this couple go from happily married in love to just devastating hatred and hurt with one another. Another movie I wanted to recommend is called The Burial, and that has to do with a court case, as does the third one that I want to recommend, which is called Rainmaker. Now, I love that one. It's got some humor, it's got some clever writing, and the book was fantastic, but the movie did a pretty good job. I really liked that one as well. And that's not always the case with films. They're not always able to capture the great dialogue and the character development and even the humor and the court banter during the attorneys' presentations and all of that. Anyway, I thought that was a great film. Okay, so there you have it. I hope if you watch this movie that you enjoy it as much as I did. Hunker down, have the energy to read subtitles, and I think that you'll appreciate the high quality of filmmaking as well as a very intriguing story. All right, have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.